Hey everybody, this is Kevin Purcell with the Theotek podcast, and today we're going to do a Theotek Extra. We've been talking about doing these for a while now, and this is actually our first one where we are filling in between the regular Friday morning podcast with a little bit extra podcast in order to show you some technology, show off a Bible app, or just talk to someone who couldn't make it on a Friday morning, whatever. But today we are actually going to be talking to our good friend Wes Allen, who is going to show us, as our title today says, behind the anchor desk. He's going to show us how he has set up their streaming studio for the American Baptist Church of New Jersey, and he's there at their office. And as you can see, he's looking pretty good down there. And let me just, at the forefront, apologize. You're going to hear a slight echo whenever I talk, which is probably a good indication that I should shut up. But anyway, because of that, this is a work in progress. We're sort of testing out his system today, and that's kind of an important thing to do when you set something like this up, to go ahead and test it out before you do it for a production run. So that's the reason for the echo. There was an issue with the cable, and he'll get that fixed when he uses it for his denomination. But Wes, thanks for doing this with us. I'm glad you're here, and you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, thanks. He just told me that I was looking better than normal, so that was very good. So it's real pleasure to be doing this. This is the first live stream that we've done from the studio. We've done some in-house interviews, but nothing that went directly out to the web. So you're the first.
Well, we are honored. So tell us what you've done.
Well, we have been kind of working to try to figure out how to get a video studio here in-house for a couple of years, and we finally figured out a way to get the money and set it up. And just this past January, we received a huge shipment of lots of toys for me to play with. And we have set up a 3-camera system right here in-house. And I'm actually controlling it from my Android tablet right now. So here I am on, this is camera 1. And I'll go over here, and I can look at camera 2. And it's telling me that I'm on preview, which is kind of fun. So here I am on camera 2. And then over here I have camera 3, and I don't know why my tablet is talking at me at the present moment. I'm going to turn that down. And this has been really interesting. We've already used it for a couple of videos to just kind of highlight region events. Putting 2 people here in studio, I have another mic, and people can sit here and go from and have a conversation. I can switch cameras between them. It gives a lot of movement to the event or to the conversation, rather than just having 2 people standing in front of one static camera. I got lights, so you can see that I'm kind of well lit, and we're working on a set. So back here you can see we're kind of filling out with knickknacks. We have books to make sure that we look like we're smart, and you can see the PVC pipes here. This is going to be where we put a backdrop, so it'll be a nice blue cloth, and you can still see some shadows. We don't have blackout curtains in the windows yet. We're working on that, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, cool. That does look good. I like it. And so the PVC, you said you're going to do a backdrop there. That's not. I think I heard you say that right.
Yes. It's not plumbing. We will be putting hanging a backdrop up, and we have some blackout curtains to put in. We have to wait for the bars to come so we can hang them up. And that'll take care of a lot of these extra shadows that you're seeing. I don't have total control of the light in here right now, so I haven't even bothered color calibrating the cameras yet or anything until I get that done. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. We built that one Saturday afternoon for like $70.
So if you had to guess what the total, maybe you don't have to guess, maybe you know exactly what the total budget is at this point, how much have you had to put into this?
We came in with all the original equipment. We came in, I think, under 14. The biggest prices that we had, was it 14? No, excuse me, I'm thinking one particular piece. It was under 2200. The biggest 2 prices that we had, or the cost that we had, were the switcher that we got, and I can show you guys that in a little bit, and the one camera, that's camera 1. We kind of went up to a prosumer level, so it's just underneath professional. We kind of wanted that for being able to handle audio and things like that. The other 2 cameras on the side, so camera 2 over here and camera 3 over here, these are just consumer cameras. I think they were just under $200 from Sony, and you know they do HDMI out, and that's how we're feeding them into the switcher.
So it's just a basic camcorder that you might buy like at Best Buy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. And what's
The prosumer one is something that's a little bit more expensive, but we need that, and I can talk about why in a second.
Okay, what about the microphone while we're sitting here and seeing that?
Yeah, these were just over $100. I think it was like $150 a piece. I could probably go find out where, and then you have to buy cables and a nice shock mount for the stands.
Yeah, what's the brand?
What did we get? We got AKG. I don't know. They sounded good and they were not expensive. So
yeah, it does sound good. I think that's your audio quality is very good.
Yeah, it's been kind of nice.
Okay. And what about the app? Is it easier for you to show it at this camera spot, or do you need to pick up one of the cameras and show the app?
I can show. Let me to bring it over. And what it is let me talk about the switcher first. Is that cool, Kev?
Yeah, go ahead.
That'll talk about why we're in the app that we are. We were originally just going to get 3 little converter boxes that would allow us to input HDMI into a computer via Thunderbolt. And I didn't really want to melt my computer as we were, filming videos all the time. And so we found this other solution, and we got what's called an ATEM Blackmagic TV Studio. It is just under $100, which is about the best buy that you're going to get in this type of equipment ever. It will take professional SDI outputs, and it will take consumer HDMI outputs. It'll take audio through both things, and we have access. I think I have 4 inputs for cameras to put in, or excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5. So I can put these 3 cameras on, and I also can connect it to a computer and output the computer. So if I want to play like Keynote or videos or things like that, I can do that. It has a video, or not a video, it has a media library that's built into it. And it will not do video, but it'll do picture images and things. And one of the cool things is that I have it plugged into my Photoshop. Unfortunately, I can't show you that right now because the computer I do Photoshop on is currently streaming this. But actually, that is a plug-in from Photoshop that'll actually allow me to change things like lower thirds on the fly and send it right to the TV streamer. And then it automatically comes up when you hit the media thing. So that's really neat.
That's from Blackmagic, you said?
It's Blackmagic, yeah. And we should put a link to that on the show notes. The one downside with this is that it does not have the ability to do analog audio directly into the switcher. You can go through a digital input it's an SDI connection. Then you have to worry about frame buffering or frame delays and things like that. And we didn't have the money to go in there. I'm working on that in the future. And so what we're doing is a little bit of a hack, and it works really well. I have the audio stereo output from our mixer going into that prosumer camcorder, which has a microphone input, and then it's just sending the audio through HDMI into the switcher. So that's how all the audio is coming in, I was rather proud of that hack.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And then you wanted to talk about the software, right?
Well, real quick, show me. I'm actually showing the website for Blackmagic.
Okay, cool.
.com. Which one of the?
Well, I'll get up and walk over, and I'll put it in front. And I'm going to get the one camera off, and we'll show you kind of the setup in a little bit. It'll be a little jittery. So this is just on my first gen Nexus 7 that I finally got working properly on Jelly Bean. And this is an app called Meta Control, META Control. There is a version of this for iPad. There's another kind of higher level software that's about $50 for iPad that I'll be getting eventually. Essentially, I can switch. It connects over Ethernet, or I have it set up on Wi-Fi, and I can just go to, say I want to go to Cam 2, and I can hit cut, and this program is on now Cam 2. It's over here. And I can go back to Cam 1, and I can cut, and now I'm back on Cam 1. So this all works, and this is for switcher. So if I want to do a slide switch, you can see how it toggles back and forth. which is really kind of cool too. I can control. I just was buying. This is one reason why I was delayed getting onto you, Tab. I just got the professional version of this that gives me a little more control for things, and I just had gotten it configured when you called. So I'm still kind of learning the ins and outs of this version of the software.
All right, Wes. Just let me interrupt you. We are hearing you just barely because the micro on your desk is
behind me. So there we go. I'll bring the microphone over here.
We heard a lot of what you said, but you might want to just kind of hit the highlights again real quick.
Yeah, highlights. This is basically, it's a ATM or ATEM. Blackmagic has an API, a programming interface that people can make apps that interface with the software. That's how my Photoshop is plugged into it. That's how this app works here, and that's how the versions for iOS work too, which is really neat because it's all open, and development can go on. And if you're so inclined, you can make your own version of something, which people were really impressed with that they did that. So that's cool. And this will control it. I hit the auto and it'll do an auto fade. If I do a cut, it'll do a direct cut between the two different cameras. And I think again, I just got the Pro version. I think Cam 6 is like the media inputs, so I need to figure out exactly how I'm going to run that from here. So it's kind of cool.
All right, that's pretty. I like that you can control it that way, because that way you can be a one-man band here.
Yep.
Set yourself up and get going with just one person at the desk there.
Which is it's really a neat thing, and I love being able to switch between cameras and go forward. What's really cool is that it has two outputs. One is for the program, so that's how you're seeing this on Google Plus, and the other is for what's called a multi-view. And I just have a cheap, I think it's like a 18-inch HDMI television, and it has the current program, the current preview, and all of the previews on the bottom for the different inputs, so I can see exactly what it's gonna cut to. It's really fantastic.
All right, before you show us this switcher that you've got there,
Sure.
What is it that you're using this for?
Well, right now we're doing in-house interviews for events that are coming in. We did an interview with one of our missionaries who's home on home assignment as he prepares to get geared up with his wife for their next trip. And so those are the types of things that we're doing it for. In the future, we want our churches in the region to be able to have events and either designate some folks in part of their congregation to create a news story. That's, it looks like something you would run on television news, and we're going to have to do some training to get people to understand how to do this properly. And then we could have a show once a week or once every other week that just talks about around ABCNJ, and we can go to those feeds and let them run, and let people know, this is a living and a breathing community of disciples, and we're doing lots of really good things for the work of the gospel. So that's kind of a start right now.
I can see that as a really useful tool. I've been looking a lot into the kinds of training that we can do with our people, independently, like outside the church walls. When someone has time, say on a Saturday morning, when we don't want to gather 75 or 100 people at the church. Just one guy wants to sit in his underwear at his computer at 7 in the morning and learn how to be a deacon or something like that, And you can set up and create that kind of thing. You can set up that kind of thing with this sort of a system and have it up on a YouTube site, or, do through a Hangout, or just record it and distribute it. If you don't want it available publicly, distribute it to church leaders in your area.
Yeah, one of our region team members is scheduled to be going out and speaking at a conference. The problem is that she's going to be due to give birth to her first child right around then, and so she was like, "Well, can we use the studio to do a video of what I'd say?" And so right now she's actually working. She's creating a presentation, and we'll connect that to the system, so we can just switch to it, and she can go through the slides as she's talking, and we can cut back to her speaking. And so that's the type of cool stuff that we'll be able to use, and I can save that and have that for whenever I want to use it, or we put it on, like you said, on YouTube, and people can view it at their leisure. It's really cool, Kevin.
And so you currently have set up where someone could be showing like a keynote or a PowerPoint while they're doing it and switch back and forth between camera and the computer?
Yeah, any computer that can do an HDMI out can just be plugged into the ATM television studio, and it treats it like it's one of the cameras. And actually, it's really kind of cool for me, or for some folks, because it'll automatically set it up as a primary or secondary display too, depending on how you have that set. So you can actually have someone sitting there and see when see the speaker notes and see when the next slide's supposed to go if you want someone else to control it. Or of course, I just use my iPad. So it's really a fantastic device for what you get for the buck, or the bang for the buck is amazing.
Why don't you go ahead and show us that switcher?
All right, well, give me a second, guys, because I need to take this off the tripod, and Kevin can entertain you for a bit, right, Kev?
Yeah, I'll tell jokes. Maybe I'll sing a song.
Do a tell a joke. I don't want to hear any more about the guy in his underwear, but that's okay.
No, what I want to talk about is Friday morning. Of course, we'll still do our regular podcast this week, and this will be kind of just a roundtable of news and things that we've been saving up until then. And I'm hoping that both Wes and Antoine can be here. I don't think we'll have any other guests, but remember that every Friday morning we do one of these. And if you're watching this live, great, or if you are watching it as the recorded podcast on YouTube, then we hope that you'll subscribe to it, and every time we update with a new video, then you'll get to see it. Also, I want to let you know this is the same YouTube channel that I am posting stuff for my website, kevinpurcell.org, and this week I put up some video, not really reviews, but demos of some interesting online Bible study sites. I've got a series that I'm halfway through. I've done 3 of the 6 best online Bible study sites at kevinpurcell.org, and you can go see what those first 3 were, and I hopefully, if I can find the time, finish that up and do it later this week or early next week. And so it looks like Wes has got the video showing set up, or at least he's moving around, so we'll go ahead and switch over there.
Yeah, I had to go back and get the microphone. So this is weird. I'm holding a desktop microphone. So here is the back of the ATEM television studio. You can see it is it's Ethernet. So I have it plugged into just a separate router that's creating its own network. It's not even connected to the internet. That USB cable there is the blue. That is to plug into a computer, and you can record on the fly. It will automatically encode it as to H.264. There are ways to plug in other devices to the system that will actually record uncompressed. So if you're really into that, that would be great. And then there's 2 HDMI outputs there. One's for program, so one's going to the little Blackmagic converter that's plugged into my Mac that's currently acting as the video device for this, and the other one goes to the multi-view. And then I have just a cheap USB mixer here, and you can see there's my 2 there's my 2 outputs, stereo outputs, XLR just to other version, and it comes over here, and there's my prosumer, and it's plugged into right there, and that's how the audio is being done. So that's kind of cool. This is the exact camera that I'm using to talk or speak to you right now at. That was just about $200, and it's got HDMI out, which is exactly what you need. And let's go back over here, and we'll look at this. This is the multi-view. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
It's really neat, and so you can see what's on the top left is the preview, so that's what the next input is going to be. And then on the top right, that's the current program. And you can see all the inputs that are currently connected. So it has room for 6 cameras, and then over there, those are media slots that come from the library, and that's where you would put like lower thirds on to come in, or other pictures. It's really kind of cool. So, and you can, let me go back over here. So this is the Blackmagic media recorder. Let me get it into frame there. Sorry, it's a little, there you go. And that goes from HDMI, and it converts it to a Thunderbolt. They have versions that are USB 3 too. And this goes to Thunderbolt, and it comes over to my Mac. And once you install the drivers, it just treats it like it's a camera. So these 3 cameras that I'm using, my computer thinks are just one camera. You can see it's basically just a rack mount. I'm going to create a rack to put it on. And you do need a little airflow underneath because it does overheat. So,
Right, so just to summarize your setup here, basically you have these 3 cameras and the microphones going into the rack-mounted Blackmagic box, and you have that then going into that smaller Blackmagic box that then connects to your Mac. Is that right?
that is correct.
Okay. And then your Macintosh, because of the Blackmagic box, sees all of it as one single input, even though it's multiple inputs.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool, and you know, that $2,200 to some might sound like a lot. To me, for all that you've got and what you're doing, that really doesn't sound outrageous. I actually think that sounds pretty reasonable in price, and there's a lot of flexibility that you've got here.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of flexibility, and you know, even 5 years ago, this is costing $8,000.
Right.
The cameras would have cost $2,000 a piece to get this type of thing. Maybe, you know, I probably could have gotten a cheap DV, but nothing HD. I mean, this is all HD that we have.
Yeah, and almost everybody's got an HD camcorder, at least somewhere nearby they can borrow or steal,
Yeah.
or but. And then, you know, so all you basically are adding to this, aside from, you know, you've got a higher quality microphone than maybe what most people might have on hand, but that those 2 Blackmagic boxes, and then the audio, what's the term for it? The board that you've got over there.
The mixer, yeah, the mixer. That's
Yeah,
the bulk of the cost. That and the cameras are the bulk of the cost.
Right.
So.
And so someone could, if they wanted to, someone could jump on and do something like this without buying the cameras. They may already have that. Maybe they don't need. Could you potentially do it without the mixer if you were just doing one audio input?
Yes, if you're doing only one audio input and you have a camera that can do a pass-through. Otherwise, it's just going to use the onboard mics. Like the camera 2 and camera 3, I have their mics turned off, so they're shut down in the Blackmagic. So you need to have something to send audio in.
Okay, so you'd have to have a camera that does audio input into the camera from, say, a microphone.
Yeah, because you don't want to.
That's rare to find anymore. I've actually looked for those specifically. We tried to replace our camera recently, and I couldn't find one just in Best Buy. They didn't have one. Not even.
That's why we had to go to the prosumer level, because that's the only place where they have them anymore.
Yeah, if you can find older ones, maybe on eBay that are still in good quality, but that and that might save you money too. But
well, and this is going to save us money because when we go out and do events now, in all likelihood, I am just going to basically bring the Blackmagic television studio with me, and that'll be the switcher. So a lot of the stuff that we would do, that we would rent, switching box and all that stuff, it'll basically be like plug us into your projectors, and that's all I want. I don't need any of this other stuff. So that's knocking off, you know, a significant portion of the tech budget for like our big annual session events and things like that. And I gain more functionality to boot. So it'll pay for itself just through that.
Yeah, I'm in the Southern Baptist tradition, and I could see our association maybe getting some of this equipment and allowing churches to kind of check it out, or or have someone maybe that is the pro that knows how to use it, and just call them up and say, hey, on this Saturday, could you come by our church and set some of this up? Is there a box like the rack mount thing that's more mobile?
You can buy like rack mount boxes that you see like bands use when they're on the road. Like these microphones have beautiful boxes like that are foam padded and whatnot to bring them. I don't know if I'd be able to get that into the budget anytime soon because they get a little pricey. What I did do is I just saved the box with the styrofoam insert for the TV studio, and that's probably how I'd end up transporting it.
Yeah,
it would be.
Go ahead.
What's that? It would be cool in the future to be able to say we'll bring it to churches. It's not a trivial breakdown and reset up, just because there's a lot of cables involved. So you don't want to be doing it all the time. And if you did, you really want to say, we do need a little bit of money for the effort that we're putting in. because it is a lot of work.
I'm showing the Blackmagic Design website, and I'm not sure if this is the same one that you've got. It sort of on the back end. It looked a little bit like it.
It's the ATEM Television Studio. So if you're on the Blackmagic site, that's probably it.
AETV Television.
ATEM.
ATEM. Okay.
Yep.
ATEM. All right. Yeah. There it is. $9.95.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, there you go.
And bang for the buck. That's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, that's exactly what you were showing us there.
Mm-hmm.
And it does say portable design.
It is portable. It's just a matter of the cabling and all that stuff. It does take up time and thought in order to get that stuff from one place to the other. It's really light. It's teeny.
I used to be in a gospel band in college. You know, I was the sound guy, and you know, we would transport loads of equipment far bigger than any of this stuff. And it probably doesn't do but half of it. So, you know, and we were only, that was only for sound. You know, we weren't even looking at audio at that point. So.
Oh yeah, the sound stuff that we used to do to just do our gospel band around the places it's you know, 3 billion cables and all that, and yeah, it adds up after a while.
Well, Wes, this was I thought very interesting, and I hope that viewers will have enjoyed it and maybe learn a little bit from it and get some ideas of some ways that they can do that. I know that Blackmagic equipment is some of the best stuff. We do our video streaming and our worship service, and we don't use their equipment, but the company that we use says that's what you ought to get. If you want the best, that's what you get. And so I recommend it just based on people that I trust recommending it to me.
Yeah, the neat thing about the one thing that is a knock on Blackmagic is they do tend to release things that are, let's say, beta, and they're out for the public, so little things don't work quite right. This thing's been out on the market long enough now that this is rock solid. I plugged it in, turned it on, it worked, and it was great.
So it's pretty much plug and play almost.
Yeah, really.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed seeing this and got something from it. Again, I hope you'll join us Friday morning and every Friday morning for the Theotek podcast. And maybe we'll do some more of these Theotek extras going forward. Let us know what you found interesting, or let us know if there's anything you'd like us to talk about on one of these. And we really appreciate it. Thanks, Wes.
Not a problem, Kev. Thank you so much.